student, we had done almost the whole chapter. Last 1 or 2 paragraphs are there. Discovering Church, the saga continues. Here it is like finally when the CT scan was over. So then what the findings of what the report of the CT scan was, and what was the reaction of Zahi Hawass, the one who conducted CT scan. So Zahi Hawass, and he is the one who did the CT scan in 2005. He is also one of the archaeologists. And then one archaeologist we read about in the beginning of the chapter, that was Howard Carter. So what Howard Carter did in 1922, what Zahi Hawass did in 2005. So there is a sea change. There is a big difference between what they did and how they did. So the whole, concern of Howard Carter was treasure. But the whole concern of Zahi Hawass is mummy, the well-being of the mummy. Okay. So let's see. Back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images of Tut on a computer screen. A gray head took shape from a scattering of pixels, and the technician spun and tilted it in every direction. Neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class. Other images revealed a hand, several views of the rib cage, and a transection of the skull. But for now, the pressure was off. So the report of the CT scan had come, and as per the report, the neck, the other images of hand, the rib cage and all, they were clearly visible in the report. And now the pressure was off. What kind of pressure was off? Zahi Hawass, before conducting the CT scan, was apprehensive about the well-being of mummy, because the X-ray of 1965 had scared all the scientists to death. They were worried, like maybe the mummy is not in its full form because of what Howard Carter did in 1922, or maybe because of what might have happened to King Tutankhamun when he was murdered. But now the CT scan report showed that everything was fine with mummy. So Zahi Hawass was very relaxed. Got it? So that pressure was off. Sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night. Not for a second, he said. I was so worried, but now I think I will go and sleep. So what do these words show us about Zahi Hawass? When he says that he was not even able to sleep. So what does it show? It shows his concern for the artifacts, his concern for the mummy. Okay, scientific attachment. What Howard Carter did in 1922, that was totally scientific detachment. He did everything with detachment. But these people, Zahi Hawass and all, they are attached. They are doing it with attachment. And moreover, what the way in 1922 science technology was not at all used, but in 2005, these people are well tech savvy. Technology is being used properly. Okay, when you do something technically or when you do something haphazardly, there is a difference. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. So by the time these people left that place, which place where the CT scan was being done. So by the time they left that place, the metal stairs through which the mummy was put into that scanner. So by the time they left that place, the wind had stopped blowing. When did the wind start blowing? put into the scanner. Yes. The winter air lay cold and still, like death itself, in this valley of the departed. So this valley of the departed, what's the meaning of departed? The dead ones. In this valley of kings, the winter air was cold as usual. Okay. Just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion, the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. So just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion, the constellation. So just outside the very tomb, there was the constellation that is symbolic of the fact like it is taking care of the tomb. So Egyptians believe in life after death. They believe that there is a God which takes care of the person even after his death. And somehow that has been proved right. How has that been proved right? Yes, even after 3,300 years after the death of that person. Then after the way that Howard Carter had done wrong with the mummy, even then the mummy was perfectly fine. It means that there was something which was taking care of that. And what was that something? The god, that constellation, that Orion. So who is the god of afterlife? Osiris. Okay? And what is Orion? Orion is the constellation. The constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as a soul of Osiris, the god of afterlife, watching over the boy king. Okay? So what is watching over the boy king? Orion. Orion is what? Orion is the soul of Osiris. And Osiris is the god of afterlife. Got it? So with this, the text comes to an end, leaving behind so many questions for us to ponder over. The biggest question which we are to think about is, should we try to unearth the past? Should the past be exposed? What is past? King Tut's past is past. His taking out mummies, should these kinds of activities be, allowed? Should past be unearthed to know the past or to shape the future? That's a debatable issue. Somebody will say, yes, the past may be unearthed, only then we can shape our future because we can learn from the past. And the past shapes our future and helps us live in present in a better way. But some people will say, no, the past should be buried. Whatever is over should not be exposed and should focus upon present, and it is present which lays the foundation of future. Even that is okay. So what have we been able to get from the you can say exposition of this kind of mummy? If King Tut has been exposed, what have we got? Have we got something? Yes, we have got treasure. Okay. Have we got anything else? Come on. We have got the knowledge, like how those people lived. Even the past had rich heritage. Even the past was very rich. Whatever is happening today, it used to happen in the past also. If today people die because of religion or on differences, it used to happen in earlier times also. Then what was the result of that kind of past? Destruction. So what we can learn today? That if today we continue the same things, then destruction will be there. Right? So the past teaches us. Otherwise, these mistakes will go on and on forever. Yeah, Samriddhi, you are asking like, what about the missing ribs in an X-ray? Okay, so yes, Samriddhi, if the ribs were missing, if the ribs were found missing in the X-ray, you also know that what is better, like what is more authentic, X-ray or CT scan? CT scan is 100 times more authentic than X-ray. Okay, it gives the kinds of images, 100 times better images are there. So maybe the X-rays report was wrong. Or what? Or yeah, so superstitiously we can imagine, we can feel, this is what the writer is also talking about, like maybe god the god of afterlife took care of him and made him all right. Otherwise, what Howard Carter did in 1922, something might have gone wrong with mummy, definitely. He never bothered to take care of the mummy when he was cutting off the joints. But even then, mummy was in such good condition. So I don't force any one of you to imagine or believe in these kinds of things, but you can think like this, or you may not think. It's all up to you. Okay. So Jatin, were you able to listen to me? Was I audible? Yes, am I audible? Okay. Okay, so now here are the questions. King Tut's body has been subjected to repeated scrutiny. So you have to give the reasons. Why has King Tut been exposed many a times? First of all, in 1922, he was exposed. Then in 65, then in 2005. So what are the reasons that he has been exposed for so many times? The reasons are very obvious. In 1922, he was discovered for the first time by Howard Carter. And his mummy was, accompanied by so much of funerary treasures. So the richest royal collection which he had was one of the basic reason for which King Tut's mummy became one of the most famous tombs in the world. Okay, for maybe for the royal collection, it was like then exposed. Then in 1965, it was exposed to see like it was exposed to see like what might have happened to King Tut when he was alive. It was done to make out the reason of his death. And in 2005, the reason was to make sure if everything was fine with the mummy. Is that clear? So three times his mummy was exposed, and all these three times, the reasons were different, right? So second point is like Howard Carter's investigation was resented. So what Howard Carter found that was criticized. Why? What did Howard Carter do in 1922? He discovered the tomb of King Tut. But his discovery, his investigation was resented. It was criticized. Why? Why was he criticized for investigating something which was extraordinary? Because people opined that, well, there is no point of unearthing the mystery of someone who died about 3,300 years ago. Why to disturb the person after his death? Death is something, death is an eternal sleep. And a person should, each and everybody has the right to take rest after that eternal sleep. No one should be disturbed. It's a right. Right? Carter had to chisel away the solidified resins to raise the king's remains. So this question, like, why did Carter have to do this? Because he could not do this. He had no other option. He had to chisel, he had to cut the resins. He had no other option. He tried earlier, he kept the mummy in the under the blazing sun of 140 degrees of Fahrenheit, but nothing happened. So he had to take this extreme step because he was more concerned about the gold which was kept along with the mummy. If he had not done this, then the thieves might have taken away the whole mummy and would have destroyed each and every evidence related to King Tut. So what he did, because at the time the scientific advancement was not there, technology had not become that advanced as it is today. So though what he did was not something which we approve of, yet we can say like it was the only option with him, isn't it? King Tut's body was buried along with gilded treasures. So why was he buried along with the funerary treasures? Means there is a life after death. No. So he was buried with funerary treasures because then people used to believe that there is a life after death. So after death, one needs everything what one requires during life. And moreover, King Tut was one of the royalist kings of his time, and he was the last of his dynasty. He had been one of the most prominent kings who ruled over his territory for 9 long years. So that kind of king was buried with all what he could have. The boy king changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun. So why did he do this? Who this boy is? This boy is King Tut, the one who changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun. Earlier, his predecessor, Akhenaten was wacky or crazy and had changed the god from Amun to Aten. He had changed his capital from Thebes to Amarna, and moreover, he destroyed all the temples of Amun, god Amun. But after his death, when King Tut followed, he restored the old ways. He restored all the temples of god Amun and changed his name from King Akhenaten to King Tutankhamun to pay respect to the god of Amun. And King Tutankhamun means the living image of god Amun. Got it? Harnoor, are you attentive? So, okay. Then there are the questions like, list the deeds that led Ray Johnson to describe Akhenaten as wacky. Yes. Why has Akhenaten been described as wacky? Wacky means mad, crazy. So why has he been called as mad? Because he did something as a religious fanatic. He was a fanatic, mad person. As a religious fanatic, he destroyed the images of god Amun. That was not enough. He even changed his name to Akhenaten and even changed the religious capital to Thebes and even destroyed the temples. That was the height of his being mad. So that's why Ray Johnson calls him as a wacky person. Okay. So what he did was something which no one had ever expected or done. What were the results of the CT scan? So the CT scan showed the whole mummy in perfect condition. That you can explain like how its hands, rib cage, and vertebrae and all, they were all in perfect condition, right? So list the advances in technology that have improved forensic analysis. So what advances have come in the technology? So here you are to compare first, like how, what Howard Carter did, and then X-ray, then CT scan. So you can talk about the advances which have come over these years, and these advances have made the forensic analysis quite accurate and authentic. Explain the statement, King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life. So what do you mean by this? Like King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned. So when the scanning expedition, or you can say mission, started in 2005, then it was King Tut who was done this for the first time. His mummy was scanned for the first time. Already about 600 mummies had been discovered or invented, right? But it was this very man, King Tut, whose mummy was scanned for the very first time. That's why he's always ahead in royal standards. Maybe it was the discovery of his tomb, or maybe it was the X-ray, or maybe it was the scan. Okay, then the second part of this talking about the text. So there are 4 points, and these are all topics to be written down. Scientific intervention is necessary to unearth buried mysteries. Do you agree that scientific intervention is very much required to unearth? Unearth means expose, to expose buried mysteries. So scientific intervention is required to know the details of the mysteries which are buried. For example, the case of King Tut. So here you have to give your opinion, like, is it so? Yes. So what Howard Carter did in 1922 and what Zahi Hawass did in 2005, there is a big difference. The method is different. The results are, alarming. So these things make us assume that yes, scientific advancement is actually required for all these kinds of things. But you have to also explain, like, why so? Okay, should the past be unearthed? Pehle ye batao. If past is to be unearthed, then why? If not, then why? It's a debatable issue. Okay, then the next point is advanced technology gives us conclusive evidence of past events. Yes, advanced technology gives us conclusive evidence of the past event. So if now we have been able to make out that King Tut died about 3,300 years ago. If now we are able to make out that he died because of he died a natural death, or if we are able to make out that he died in the month of March or April, it means that these things, this knowledge has all come to us through technology, isn't it? Or through the knowledge of other scientific aspects. Traditions, rituals, and funerary practices must be respected. So what are the traditions, rituals, and funerary practices? If some dead body is buried, that is a funerary practice. So as per this practice, one who is buried should not be unearthed. Yes, these things should be respected. So if King Tut died, he should not have been disturbed from his eternal sleep. Right? Knowledge about the past is useful to complete our knowledge of the world we live in. Agree or not? Knowledge about the past is required to fill the knowledge of the present. Is it okay? It's again debatable. Try to think, like, why do we need to know the past if we want to have a complete knowledge of the present? Because when we know the past, only then the present will be made better. from the mistakes of the past, we can make our future better. Okay, here you can give so many other, arguments in favor or against. So these 4 points we'll be discussing next week. Okay. Tomorrow is one more day with us. So we will start off the new poem, The Laburnum Top. So keep that text ready. Okay. The Laburnum Top tomorrow. Would that be fine? Yes, children. Have you got everything here online? Okay. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow with your The Laburnum Top. Thank you.